country fans of today. There I am. I'm glad you got to see me. And tonight, I have to tell you, this young lady that I'm about to interview tonight, I have to admit, she could drink me under the table when it comes to whiskey. So, and she is from Eastern Kentucky. She is an amazing artist, an amazing songwriter. If you've watched the podcast, you know we've had some issues in the past trying to get Taylor on. But tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Taylor Austin Dye.
Hey y'all,
So
I'm here.
we finally got you on. I'm so excited.
Yes, it's been a long time coming, but we are here.
It is. It's been a long time. But you know, the good thing about it, there has been so much happening in A, your career, and B, your life, that it's going to enhance the podcast that much more because we got a lot to talk about.
Yep, let's go. Let's dig
There's a
into
lot. There's a lot that's happened to you. And let's start off with the typical introduction questions. You're from Eastern Tennessee or Eastern Kentucky. I'm sorry. Forgive me for saying Tennessee. You're from Nashville now. So, but you were born and raised in Eastern Kentucky. Tell us about growing up in Eastern Kentucky. What was that like? Where, what part, all that good stuff.
Well, from a real small town, Boonville, Kentucky, southeast, population 111. Like I said, super small. The whole county's got 4,700. So, it's kind of one of those deals where everybody knows everybody's business, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. But yeah, I grew up on a tobacco farm for the good majority of my childhood with my grandparents, and it was everything you would think living in the country's like.
Wow. That's awesome, though. I mean, the small towns, I hate the fact of, like you said, it's everybody knows everybody's business. That's not always fair. But growing up in an area like that, even the county, I mean, what did they think whenever you started getting into music? How old were you when you first got into country music and singing out and that kind of thing?
I started playing out like in public when I was 5 years old, like getting paid to play shows when I was 5 years old. I was on at Renfro Valley that we have like a music venue. They do bluegrass and country music, gospel there, and I was on I think it was Friday. It was Friday or Saturday night on the barn dance. So when I was 5 years old, so that's how it all kind of started, and ever since I just never quit.
Wow, you've been in music for a minute, then, haven't you?
Yeah. I won't give away my age, but
yeah, no, we won't talk about that. I mean, you've been in it for, I don't know what, 13 years. I mean, you're about 18 now. So
exactly. Barely legal.
Yeah. But I mean, growing up, what kind of influences did you have musically when you were growing up?
Honestly, I was raised on a good mixture of everything, and I credited a lot of that to my mom. She loves AC/DC, but she loves Hank Jr., just as equally. So she tells a story about when I was young in my car seat. Every time I would hear Kalijah, the Hank song, I would start kicking my feet and trying to sing along. So that was like my earliest favorite song.
Was it one of those where, because you were so young, you really didn't understand the lyrics and you just made stuff up as you went along?
Well, actually, I don't know. I've always been really good with lyrics, and I was just like, I can always remember them. And I don't know, ever since I was young, like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I've always been pretty good with it. I would, of course, before I could talk, I would just mouth whatever. But yeah.
Well, I mean, you think about it whenever you're that young that you kind of don't hear the lyrics just right. And
Yeah,
I've
of
read
course I
some
didn't
stuff.
understand the content. I had no idea
Right.
what they were talking about, but
Right.
whatever. There's a wooden Indian standing over by the door. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. That's always the good part of it. I love that. So, as you're going through, school, you're getting to school age, you're still kind of chasing the dream, and you've been doing this since you're 5 years old. What did your friends think about, you know, Taylor, the country music star at that point? I mean, if you were on there every Friday night, you were, pretty much kind of capturing audiences for sure.
Well, it was kind of like a known thing in school that I was a singer. And so every time we would have like a program in our gym or in our auditorium or something, it was like, oh, we got to get Taylor to sing a song. So I played my sixth grade graduation, sang a song for my 12th grade graduation. So I was kind of like always filling in as the resident musician when I was in school.
That is super funny. So then you progress on and you decide, hey, it's about time for me to make this serious, and you make the move to Nashville.
hmm I
Um,
actually went to college for music. A lot of people don't know that, but I
oh,
studied classical music when I was in college. So I was singing all the opera type stuff, which is kind of funny. It's kind of my party trick now to do. So after college, I spent a year in radio, a little over a year in radio, and then moved to Nashville. Yep.
oh, so you were in radio. See, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
You were in radio.
I had my own radio show in Central Kentucky. It spanned over most of Central Kentucky, and I had like a little drive time show. It was really fun. I really liked that job.
What station was it on?
It was 104.9 WSKV.
Okay. All right. Oh, that's pretty cool. See, I didn't know that about
Yep.
you. I never knew
It
that.
was I really did love that job. It was I would take callers and just like we had a little community. We called it Songbird Radio.
Uh-huh.
And I would take requests sometimes and just have all kinds of themes. Like I really got into it. So if
Yeah.
anyone that lives in the area, they probably remember like 2016, 2017, I had Songbird Radio.
Well, that wasn't in your bio, so I'm glad I found that out. So you get through college and you're studying classical. Was it a music college or was it just like a regular, art? What do they call that? Liberal arts college or something like
Yeah.
that?
So I was a first generation college student. So I ended up getting enough scholarship to go to a private liberal arts college in Georgetown, Kentucky, called Georgetown College. Not
Okay,
to be confused with Georgetown University.
right. Probably a little bit smaller than that, I would
Yeah,
guess.
it was super small. I think my class had 300 maybe
Mhm.
ish. So
Wow.
a little bit
So
bigger than my high school though.
it was a little bit bigger than the high school.
No, my whole middle school and high school had about 300 people. So yeah.
Wow. Those small towns, but I mean, I came from a small town. Our graduating class had, gosh, it's been a year or two, so give me a minute, but I think it was around, it was less than 50
Yeah, that's probably
who
about what ours
graduated.
was too. Hmm
So it was a small town. It was about 2,000, but it was a small town, farming
hmm
community, and a lot of farming, factory work that people had to commute to. But Um, so you've gone through college and you've studied the classical music, and now the move to Nashville comes. What was it like going from super small town America to Nashville, Music City, USA?
Well, I always knew that I wanted to move to Nashville ever since I was super young. My parents would bring me down and I would go like summer camp here, like music camp or whatever. And every time we would come home, I would beg, please, can we move to Nashville? So I always knew I wanted to come, but it was definitely, I won't say a culture shock, but it was nice being able to drive 5 minutes to Walmart instead of an hour and 5 minutes to Walmart. That was our nearest grocery store back home. It's
Uh-huh.
like an hour away. So I got kind of spoiled to the fact that I can just, oh my God, I can go to Taco Bell like at 2 in the morning and be back home by 2:05 like that. It just, I don't know. I love living here. It's nice to go back home to get that reset, but I do love being so close to everything here.
Yeah. So if right now you could go back before we really get into your career, I just want to ask this. If you could go back to say 15-year-old Taylor a couple of years ago and give yourself one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
To do it sooner. To, just don't. I don't even know if I would have went to college, honestly. Sorry, mom and dad. But yeah, I would have come down here, immediately after I graduated, or
Yeah.
as soon as I could. Yeah.
So you were that in love with it. Was it the city itself or was it the excitement of starting that music career?
Oh, I think it was just a little bit of both. Like, we're blessed in Eastern Kentucky to have a lot of talented people, but the venues and that's just not really there as much. And I love being able to any night of the week going out and watching my friends or watching new people play any bar you walk into. I love just like I feel like I can't get enough and absorb enough of the music, and I think that's what makes me love it so much.
Yeah. Is it when you're, because you are like enthralled in the music. I mean, the writing and the performance is one thing when you're doing it yourself, but you absorb so much from other people. I
Mhm.
mean, I see on your social medias that you're out and about, you're listening to folks. Is that is that kind of a difficult thing? Because I don't think there's a lot of artists that do that. I think of what a lot of artists do is they use that time to just kind of be by themselves, where you're more like the social butterfly kind of.
I do love my alone time. Don't get me wrong, but I really, it inspires me so much to go out to songwriter rounds and to be around other people that are like minded. It's just like it makes me want to be even better. So I'm always trying to be out and kind of just in that space, and puts me in a good headspace as an artist.
Right. So when you talk about the writers rounds, I mean Nashville's full of those. You've got them at several different places around town, the listening room and um, uh, what is it, Belcourt Taps and
Mhm.
Alley Taps and all of those places. Who are some of the people that you look up to as far as your writing goes? Are there any particular people that you kind of pattern
Yeah.
your
Well,
writing after?
I won't say that I pattern after, but I really love Jeffrey Steele,
Mhm.
Wendell Mobley, Neil Thrasher. And they've written, like, they've got more number ones than, but
Right.
they're just such talented artists, and I could sit and watch those guys all day and all night and just never get tired of it. And just hearing their stories and hearing their process, like I said, I always just leave super inspired after I see those guys.
Well, and that's one of the things that I've always wondered, a lot of the artists, because you're exposed to so many great writers, you know.
All the time.
I mean, you've got the three that you mentioned, and then you've got like Natalie Hemby. I know she does some
Oh,
stuff around town, and I could sit here all night and name off writers, but sometimes I get kind of a pun writer's block where I can't think about who I'm talking about. but but there are some great writers down there. When you start to write a song, what is the normal process for you? What comes, it's like which came first, the chicken or the egg? So
right.
what comes first for you?
I have no process ever. I never like sometimes I'll just have like a hook idea and I'll sit down and try to build around that. Sometimes I just have a little melody. Sometimes I just have a little guitar lick, and I really couldn't tell you one way or the other what my process is. But somehow it just happens, and it just falls into place. And I don't start with one particular thing ever.
It's so funny because a lot of folks will say, well, I've got, generally it comes with, I've got a melody. And so I'll start with the melody and then I'll go into writing the lyrics. And then it's, okay, now I have to go to the hook. There's kind of um, I've heard from a lot of people, there's a formula that Nashville has as far as writing goes. And, it's kind of like studying for a test. They say there's certain ways you can do it to help you, and some artists do it, some artists don't. And quite honestly, from every song I've heard of yours, you don't need that formula if you don't follow it, because you do a damn good job.
Thank you. I'm not a rule follower, per
Right.
se. So, I mean, it does help if you're in a co-write, and that way everyone can get on the same page, I guess. But I don't do a ton of co-writing either. So,
That was my next question.
yeah,
So we can
I,
throw that in there.
I am so strange about the way I'm just not strange. I guess I'm just very picky and peculiar about how I want my songs to come across. And sometimes I will sit on a song for months before I feel like I'm done with it. And it's
Mhm.
kind of hard to do that when you're in a 3-hour co-write and got to rush off and do the next thing.
Right.
So I mean, I do co-write a little bit, but I really love to write alone because I can really get in my thoughts and really nail down each word and make sure I'm getting the point across the best way I can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so with the rights that you have done with somebody else, does that feel like you're giving up a part of yourself in a song? Is that one of the small reasons that you like to write alone? Because, some people, they kind of, I guess where you're in a co-write, and this is just my thought. I mean, I'm not a writer, but when you're in a co-write, somebody else is putting their opinion into a song as
Mhm.
well. And so does it feel like that's taken away from the song that you're writing?
I think it can feel like that at times, especially if it's you bring a really personal topic to the table.
Mhm.
Um, Otherwise, I mean, for example, "Water Me Down," I had I had about half a verse and some of the chorus written when I came to my co-writer, one of my favorite co-writers in town. Her name's Kelly Johnson, and I said, "Hey, I have this much of the song. I really want you. I'm kind of having some block with it. Come in. Let's see what we can do." We wrote that song in 50 minutes,
Wow.
finished the whole thing, and that just like when a song falls out like that, you've got something in that
Right.
sense. So, um, yeah, it's just like that was a song that was personal, but is also a lot of fun, and I think anyone could relate to it and could have thrown in some awesome stuff, and Kelly's
Right.
just, the best at that.
And I want to talk about that song for a minute for the
Okay.
simple fact of social media. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, the new craze is TikTok.
Of course.
Everybody's on TikTok now.
Talk about that.
Oh,
And where did that come from?
that was my fault. I accidentally hit my
Oh,
phone and I had my Facebook pulled up. I was sharing it earlier before we got on here. My
uh,
bad.
no, that's all right. I was like, golly, boy, talk about delay. I need to check that.
That was on me. My bad.
I felt like I was on the radio right then. When you're streaming, it's a 7-second delay. You try to talk with that, man, it throws you off.
Oh, I
But
turn it off always.
TikTok is kind of I don't know. It's a good medium. It's kind of short in what you can share. But one of the things I like about it is like if you've got a new song, you can share a little bit about it and get people's opinion before the song comes out.
Mhm.
But you do a lot on TikTok. And one of the things that you've done of late is using a portion of Water Me Down. The line of there's a lot of things in common between me and old Jack D.
Mhm.
And the thing that I've noticed of late is people are using that sound on their TikToks.
I think last time I checked about a week ago, it was like 2,600 people had used the sound. So it
Wow.
actually tells you the number of people that have used it. So I think it was 2,600 last time I checked. Don't hold me to that, but yeah, I get on there and I love seeing people like making their own little videos with it and kind of
Mhm.
relating to the song. And I get on there and I try to comment back and forth with everybody that I can on there, just because I think it's fun.
Right. We need to get some people on there to do duets with you on that. That would be kind of fun.
Mhm.
Um, but Brian, I'm going to show you what Brian Judy said here. You know Brian. I'm sorry, but you do know him. Uh, he's trying to convince me I need to do a TikTok to water me down. I'm guessing. Um,
I agree.
so I did that with one of our another artist, Bree Morgan. She had a song called Trash, and I actually did a TikTok with her live when we were in St. Louis with her. Um, but what is that? What's the feeling you get when you look at that and 2,600 people have used that in their own TikTok um, post stories, whatever they call them?
It's incredible. I'm just like, how I never thought that I would be able to have this kind of reach as an independent artist ever, but TikTok has given me that platform to just
Mhm.
make and build my fan base really from the ground up. I've never had any kind of deal or development or any kind of that. It's just I've worked hard at it, and TikTok has given me the platform to just build it on my own. And I think it's just a good feeling. It's awesome to and actually know my fans and see the ones that come back to my lives every week, and then that eventually they come out to shows, and then we call them the ride or dies, or they call
Mhm.
themselves the ride or dies. I'm sure you've seen that, but and I know so many of them in person now, and it's crazy. It's like we just hang out at my shows, and I really love that about TikTok. It's a good way to build a community.
Yeah. Has that been a major I mean, you've already said it's kind of been a major asset for you.
Mm.
So does that make it better than Instagram and Facebook as far as how an artist uses that?
For me, I think my reach is wider, obviously on TikTok. Yeah, I think so. Um, I love Instagram, Facebook, and I love all the people that are on there. But TikTok is just so much more personal because Instagram, you're getting a picture once a day. On TikTok, you're getting a glimpse into someone's life, through video, which I think is way more valuable.
Right. And the lives I think are super cool for that.
Mhm.
You can do like a little live mini performance. I've got an artist that I work with, and he had one on today, and to see the numbers is really exciting for me,
Mhm.
and I know it is for him. And when you're on there doing a live, and you've got 15,000 people that are watching, or 15,000 likes on something, or something like that, then it comes. I mean, it's really cool for you as an artist.
And it's so interactive because I do take requests, but we just get on there and talk. How's your day? What are y'all drinking? Where are you from? Like, just talk about whatever I got going on or whatever the ride or dies have going on.
Right.
And it's just like I said, it just builds that really close knit kind of relationship, and I love that.
I really like the fact that you interact with your audience and your ride or dies the way you do, um, because you are one of those artists that you will take a minute to do that and to give them an inside look at your life as well as exposing their own lives to you. And it builds that, like you said, it builds that friendship and that enjoyment that they get to where they want to come out to a live show.
Right. And I played this past weekend in Kentucky. Well, actually Saturday night. And there were a bunch of people that came out to the show that I had never met, but I had met them on TikTok. So that was really cool. We took pictures, took shots, So
Hmm.
it's, yeah, good
When you
community.
say took shots, you didn't mean with cameras. So.
Yes. No, both.
Yes, no, maybe. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I guarantee you she can drink me under the table. And because she is big. Actually, I'm trying to catch up with her now, I'm sure.
What are you having? Is that bourbon? Is that
Yeah. Yeah, it would be. And if any of my Three Rangers buddies are watching, it would be Three Rangers whiskey, but I don't have any. I'm gonna get on them again because I can't find it around here. Um, but that is actually Buffalo Trace.
okay?
So what's your favorite? What's your drink of choice? Let's do it like this. What on TikTok, how they have the little thing, they ask your name, your sign, your age, all that stuff. What's your drink when you get drunk?
Um, well, I think there's a lot of answers to that, but I'll tell you.
What's your favorite drink when you get drunk? Let's go back to that.
Well, obviously I love bourbon, so I like Woodford, Bullet, Angel's Envy,
Mhm.
Blanton's, of course, but it's hard
Yeah.
to find these days. Um, but I also like, we'll do like picklebacks a lot. Honestly, have you ever had those? It's like
No.
it's so a lot of people don't know what it is. It's Jameson, a shot of Jameson whiskey, and a shot of pickle juice. So you do the whiskey first, and then the pickle juice after.
Ah,
So that's like one of our favorite. Like every time we go to the bar, that's usually what we start out with: a shot and a beer of pickleback. So, and then
okay.
I'm a Miller Lite gal. I really like Miller Lite beer or Bush
Yeah.
Light. It's good too. But
I'm a Miller Lite guy. We like that. I'm trying to get my summer dad bod back, so I've kind of sworn off of that and gone to Mick Ultra for a while. But um, I figure if I start working on it now, I might be halfway there by the end of summer.
yeah, I mean you got plenty of time.
So, but our daughter, our youngest daughter, she would probably be into that. She likes. Have you ever tried the Old Smoky moonshine pickles?
We have some in the fridge, and we actually will use the juice out of that as a pickleback. So it's like
Okay.
double alcohol. Okay, I'm making myself sound horrible, but
No, you're
it's
not.
great.
You're not. I love it. I absolutely love it. We drink around here a lot too. I mean, I got home from work. That's the first thing I did. My wife's got. I'll ask you this question real quick. We're going to kind of dive off subject, but we mentioned college. National championship tonight. Give me your pick, Alabama or Georgia?
I ain't got no clue. Is it what sport?
It's football.
See, I don't know. I'll say Georgia because I got a lot
Oh,
of friends that are Georgia fans. I don't know. I really couldn't tell you.
all right. Well, thanks for being on the show tonight. I'm kidding. We're a Bama family. I mean, so
My
we
bad. No
when the
choice.
song came out and that I hate Alabama, my wife was like, "Don't you dare play that in the house."
I don't keep up with sports very much. I do like hockey. I like to go to the hockey games here.
Okay.
Just because I love to watch them fight. I think it's the coolest thing. But other than that,
Right about now, football, you can see some fights in there too. We've seen a few the last probably 5 games we've watched. There's been one in every one of them. So, I mean,
all
it's
right
quite
then. Maybe I should start.
interesting. I guess that's probably an assumption I shouldn't have made. I mean, I assume that, a lot of people like football in Nashville. You got the Titans who quite actually are the number one seed right now in the AFC East,
Oh,
after knocking the Kansas City Chiefs out of the top seed, from winning yesterday. Yesterday. The Chiefs played Saturday. You can tell we're a big football family here. Even our dog has her football bandana on tonight. So
when is this game tomorrow? Or
no, it's actually going on right now.
and you're here?
Yeah,
You in
but
there? Okay.
I'm here with you
Oh,
because
okay.
that's it's been hard to get you
Honored.
on. And I will give up the game because it's probably being recorded, to be honest with you, just as this is, so I can go back and watch. I do know Bama was ahead 3-0 when I came down to the studio.
Well, that's promising for you then.
So yeah, that's and to all the people from Georgia that just logged off, this isn't about football, so you can log back on.
I don't
Uh,
know the difference. Come back.
yeah, we're not going to talk football anymore. We're done with that. That was just a question I wanted to throw out there to see who you'd pick. But so you've got to. I'm super excited about this tonight because um, before we went live, Taylor and I were talking, and she sent me a song, and I know that you've had it on TikTok some. And it's called Like You Do. It's a great song.
Thank you.
Um, I I was gonna listen to it on the way home tonight from work because I had you pulled up on my Spotify and was just running down through all of your songs, and I thought it's not on there yet.
Oh,
So the thing that hit me was that's because it's not been released.
it is coming though next week.
Right. So next week it'll be out. The cool thing is you're going to get to hear it tonight right here on Before Nashville as a world premiere.
Let's do it.
That's what I'm excited about. So let me give a quick shout out to our sponsors, Go Tuners. They're the go-to tuners for pro and amateur musicians alike. Great, great tuners. And if you want to find out more, go to gogotuners.com. We've got Civvy's apparel. I'm wearing one of my Civvy shirts tonight, worn by heroes, made with respect. They take retired military uniforms, incorporate those into the style of their apparel. And you can find out more about them at civviesapparel.com. Heart to Heart Coffee, the coffee that gives back in a positive way. Not what some people may think. they donate 15% of every order back to an organization that you pick. So if you go to heartcoffee.com, you can pick what organization you want your 15% to go to, whether it's a bag, if it's a monthly subscription, whatever it is. 15% goes back to that charity, which is really amazing. So I want to thank our sponsors. So in lieu of that, we're going to go ahead and get into a little Taylor Austin Die. This is a world premiere, and it's called Like You Do on Before Nashville.
Introducing the country stars of tomorrow to the country
Tina.
Song, the one you always sing harmony on. I wish he knew how I like my drinks. I like him a lot stronger than he thinks I do. And I toss and turn when I lay down at night, trying to figure out how I can pick a fight and get out with the cleanest room. 'Cause he don't know me like you do. And I'm back and forth, and it's a living hell. And I've made my mind up, but I can't tell him that I choose you. It's always been you. 'Cause you know all the words to my favorite song, the one you always sing harmony on. You know just how I like my drinks. I like them a lot stronger than he thinks I do. And I toss and turn when I lay down at night, trying to figure out how I can pick a fight and get out with the cleanest mood. 'Cause he don't know me, no one never know me. He don't know me like you do.
That was Taylor Austin Die and Like You Do. And apparently we had a little bit of problem with getting the song on. I had it turned up, but it was not going through. So I'm guessing that I'm going to have to work on that some. Taylor, it never fails. There's got to be something that messes us up, I swear.
It's all right.
The podcast gods are just not with me when it comes to you. I don't know. Maybe they think that I'm a bad influence.
Or maybe they think I'm a bad influence.
Well, nah, I doubt that. So tell me about the song. I got to be honest, and I say that I don't like to do this, but I do it on just about every song. It's kind of, it puts me a lot in the mind of the new one by Carly Pearce and Ashley McBride. I don't want to be that girl.
Oh yeah, I never wanted to be that girl.
Yeah, the story of it kind of follows into that. Tell me about the song. Where did it come from, and how just give me how you got to writing that particular song.
So the idea of the song basically is that in country music, you don't really hear a lot about the girl actually being in the wrong and singing about taking ownership of like doing the wrong thing and cheating. You usually hear like, oh, he cheated on me, I'm going to burn his house down, slit his tires, whatever. So I kind of wanted to write a song from the perspective of, I'm doing the wrong thing, and I'm in this back and forth between a rock and a hard place between these two people. And that's kind of the way that I went into it, and kind of tried to make it this, she's kind of in this place where her relationship has run its course and she's found someone new, but the other guy's still a good guy. He just is not her person. So that's kind of the whole idea behind it.
So it's kind of like one of those relationships where somebody's checked out, even though they're together, somebody's checked out, and she's decided, I got to do something different for me type of thing.
Trying to figure out a way to get out of the situation, but he's not did anything wrong. It's kind of, back and forth with it.
Right. So that leads me to the next thing, because about 2 weeks ago on your Instagram, I think I saw a post that you are now engaged.
Yes. I guess it's been, about 2 weeks ago now. December 22nd, whenever that was, right before, a couple days before Christmas. So yeah, sure am.
Wow. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. I don't have my ring on because I have this big thing on, but it's
right. I thought maybe he gave that to you. The thing is, like, whenever I proposed to my wife, the ring that I gave her, it was what she had it's what she liked. It
Mhm.
wasn't a high dollar diamond ring. It was sterling silver, and that was her thing at the time, and that's what I went with. But we've been married for 5 years, been together for 11 now or 10, and I just bought her a new one for our anniversary, and it's the one that kind of broke the bank. So,
Well,
but she
I'm
deserves it.
sure she loves it and deserves it
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah, she deserves it. She's a good woman. She puts up with a lot of stuff from me. And I haven't met Ben. Is it Ben?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I got that right. That would have been embarrassing. I haven't met him yet, but I'm sure he's a good guy. He's got good taste.
He's a
So
good feller, yeah, he sure is. He
it's-
plays drums with me all the time. So if you're ever out at a show, you will see him banging on a kit right next to me.
that's awesome. That's great. How how do so apparently, I mean, you guys have been together for a while, either in the band or as a couple.
Mhm.
Um, do you have you ever? I mean, I say this because I know, like, I think back to like Hillary Scott from Lady A. Her husband Chris plays drums for them, and do you ever feel like that there's a problem? I mean, when you have an issue, do you work it out and it doesn't affect the band? Because I mean, you're the front artist of this.
Mhm.
So has it affected your shows? If you've ever had an issue, not saying that you have, but
No, we haven't. And usually, if we have any kind of musical, we don't ever fight about anything. But the only time we do fight, it's about something crazy, some kind of merch or like driving to a show or something. And it's just, but no, I kind of solve it in that way. And we've been playing together for so long. We actually met through doing music. He used to
okay.
manage and play with the band that I would open up for all the time back in Kentucky called Halfway to Hazard.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's how we met. We always just kind of been around that. So yeah, I think we handle it pretty good.
Well, that's great. And the reason I say that the way I did is because I know the guys of Halfway to Hazard, and I think I still have it. Their first manager was a friend of mine, a guy by the name of Christopher Washko,
Hmm.
and I've got their. I don't even think it's their first CD. I think it was some songs that they did that he put on the CD and sent to me years ago when they
Oh,
first got
really?
together. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's
I
a good,
still
good
have
friend
that
of mine.
somewhere.
They're great,
Um,
great boys.
yeah, they are. And Chris used to be the event coordinator at at the university venue here in town, and that's how I got to know him. And then he went to Nashville and got with the guys of Halfway to Hazard. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yep.
And so that's awesome. So now you've got I looked over your golly, sorry. I don't know if you can hear it. I can hear people yelling above me. It's probably my daughter and my wife yelling at the TV. So
Football.
yeah. Our daughter, she was up standing on the couch a while ago when Alabama kicked a field goal, and I'm like, "What are you doing? Get down! Don't stand on the furniture. You know better." But I was looking at your shows coming up, and you're going to be. You got a few in Kentucky, and then you got some in Tennessee and Alabama and Georgia, the Carolinas, primarily South Carolina, and then Ohio, and that was like in September.
Hmm.
But see, this Friday night you're going to be in Winchester, Kentucky,
Hmm. It's
and
a venue I've never actually been to or played at before, but
okay.
I'm looking forward to it. It's called a Better Brewing Company.
Hmm. Okay. So the good thing about that is because I was going to ask you kind of about the venue itself. Um, because like I said, I work with an artist and I'm trying to get him into some venues, and I'm like looking at these going, okay, uh, you're going to be at the Austin City Saloon in Corbin, Kentucky on the 15th.
Hmm.
And then you're traveling back to Nashville and you'll be at Live Oak. Um, mm, let's see, Carl's Country in Prattville, Alabama.
Hmm.
And then Toonies in McKaysville, Georgia, the Crimson Moon in Dahlonega.
Uh-huh.
I love it. I'm a huge Ashley McBride fan. Is that a song that you cover? Do you cover Little Dad Bar in Dahlonega?
That bar, the Crimson Moon, is actually the song that the bar that song's written about. Apparently,
Really?
so I've heard. That's what they told me down there. So, yeah,
It's probably the only bar in town, so it's got to be about.
There's not a lot of them.
Because I hear Dahlonega is not a huge town, but it's still kind of a cool place. McNulty's Tap Room in Blythewood, South Carolina, and you're going to be there 2 nights, March 4th and 5th.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're scheduled out. Then you got like a long break, which I'm sure you're trying to fill or have filled. You're going to be in West Liberty, Ohio at Country Legends Fest.
Mm-hmm.
So you're actually at a festival that weekend.
Yeah, and I think the headliners on that are Craig Morgan and Terry Clark. So I'm really excited and the Bellamy Brothers. So I'm excited to play that one.
And that's going to be a great show.
Yeah.
All these others are just like bars and places like that, and then you have a festival. Have you played a lot of festivals?
I have actually. Mostly in Kentucky and around Kentucky, Ohio, Tennessee. But that's kind of where, before I started playing in bars, before I was 21, I would do all the festivals, all around Kentucky and the surrounding areas. So I love the festival life. Honestly, they're really fun.
Right. And that's what I was going to ask you. How do they compare to the small bars, the intimacy of a small bar? I mean, when you're at a festival, if it's a small festival,
mm-hmm.
you could have 2,000 to 3,000 people. And then you get into some of the bigger ones where you could have 5,000 to 7,000, and then the huge ones where you're talking 15,000 to 20,000, and then you got the Woodstock type, which I've never seen, of almost 500,000 people.
Yeah.
I've not seen one of those yet, but I think that was a whole weekend total. That wasn't just one day; it was 3 days. But the atmosphere between the two, which one do you prefer, the festivals, or do you like the small bars better?
I think it all depends. Sometimes it's so cool to just be laid back in a quiet setting, sometimes bars get like that, not always, but that's always super cool. But then sometimes the energy is so high. I guess it just depends on the crowd, I don't know.
Right.
I like it all. I'm not going to say I like anything better, but I prefer when the energy is super high. Everybody's into it. In the songs, singing along, like that's my kind of thing. And I think you do find that, like on Broadway at some bars, but you also can find that at the festival type thing as well. So wherever the energy is, that's what I prefer.
So here's something that's always I've wanted to ask is, you were talking about the energy level and like the small bars and the energy that they can bring. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get the question back because I just looked at something that somebody sent and it just totally threw me off my game here. So I lost my question. My brain derails. My brain train derails once in a while.
It's very easy for my brain to do the same thing. So I'm right there with you.
But so okay, let's just shift gears. What is the strangest performance that you've ever done?
No, that's a good question because I've had a lot of strange ones. The first one that comes to mind, it was a long time ago. I played a bar. I won't name what bar or where it's at, but it was a bar and I was full band, but it wasn't a bar. There was just some like folding tables and like a couple pool tables and a dartboard. And there was no actual bar because it was BYOB, but that's obviously illegal. So that wasn't even like, I'm trying to figure out the best way to describe it. It was like, it was the strangest thing. Like everybody kept going out to their car and coming back in, and it was a bar, but it wasn't a bar. And there were some creatures that were coming in and out of there. It was hilarious. Like the people watching was amazing.
I started to say, when you say creatures, you're not talking about like 4-legged or anything like that. You're talking about people.
I don't know what they had going on.
Whatever's in their family bloodline stays in their family bloodline, but you never know.
that was one of the strangest situations that I've been in, and it was fun though. I was laughing the whole time, so just a little strange.
Made for good energy on the stage anyway. You get a laugh out of it.
They
So
were
it keeps
super
you
into it, but I was just like, okay, well, this is happening. Uh,
Oh, that's crazy. Um, so if I was to access your and I'm gonna say this, and I might be wrong, but if I were to access your iPhone, I don't know. Some people have iPhones, some people don't. I'm not an iPhone
yeah,
guy. But if I were to access your iPhone and look at your playlist, what are the top 10 songs I'm going to find on your playlist?
well, let's see. It's gonna be weird. Here we have All Too Well, Taylor Swift, 10-minute version. Never Wanted to Be That Girl, which we already talked about.
Mm-hmm.
The new Adele song. Celine Dion, It's All Coming Back to Me Now. I got some of my friends on here. I have Kristen Foreman, Blackout. Billie Eilish, Hank Jr. I mean, I got some rap on here. I probably don't need to say some of the titles out loud because you might get taken down, but it's a little bit of everything. So
I always say F them if they can't take a joke. So,
that was just my recent top 10 recently played. So
all right. So you're pretty eclectic about what you listen to. Is your set list kind of that way? Is it pretty eclectic? I mean,
yeah, we do everything from Bob Seger to Loretta Lynn to Eminem every night. So yes, it's very all over the place. Whatever people want to hear, and then I always have to do my personal picks as well. So
right. So do you depend on I don't want to say you depend on request a lot, but you depend on that to kind of get the crowd interactive a little bit.
yeah, and that kind of tells me which way I'm going to steer my set. If I'm getting a ton of old school country requests, I'm going to throw more of those in. Or if I'm getting more newer or like rock requests, I'll go that way. So it just kind of steers me in the right direction as to and back to the energy. When you're playing stuff people like, you got a better energy in the crowd. So that's always what I'm chasing after.
Right. So you're one of these artists, you don't go in there with a prepared set list. You just you kind of have it in your mind. It's not like it's on paper and you're having to follow that. You just kind of let it flow, so to speak.
Yep. I have a loose list, and then Ben has a loose list on his phone, and we'll just kind of, if there's no request or it's just kind of our kind of pick, then I'll just scroll through and pick out something I want to play. But otherwise, yeah, we kind of try to do the request thing if we can.
Right. And that's always, I mean, for an artist that's not playing on the big stage. Now, of course, at a festival, you can't really do that because you got
of course not.
They want you to know when you get there what you're going to do.
Yeah. And then that's good because I can do mostly original stuff, which is, what I prefer anyway. So.
Right. So, okay, you're releasing, like you do next week. You've got what I was looking at your Spotify earlier and I apologize. I had it on here. Because my stupid phone here. Let's see here. Taylor, there you are. You've got about 4 songs on there right now.
Mm-hmm.
But and this is where I am super excited for you. You've got 4 songs, but your monthly listeners are almost 20,000 per month.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every song you have on here is over 100,000. Most of them are over 150,000. So I would say probably a median number, you're averaging about 150,000 streams per song, which is phenomenal. And it's, for me personally, the only downside to that is there's just not enough because I love your music so much. I mean, I really do. I've been listening to your songs like ever since you said, okay, I'm going to come back on and we're going to do this again, every day. That's like my drive to and my drive home.
Oh,
Music.
thank you.
And I work in radio, so I can listen to the radio station if I want to. But I mean, I hear the same songs all day long, so I want something
Same
I
five
don't normally
songs
hear.
over and over again. Yeah, I know the drill.
You know, I'd rather listen to your songs over and over
Thank
as
you.
opposed to some of that.
That makes me feel
Um,
good.
but so I mean, when you look at that, are you thinking, okay, are you? I guess the question I'm trying to get to is: are you planning an EP soon? Are you planning a full album? What's your plan for your music over let's say the next 2 years? Which direction are you going?
Well, I don't want to make like false promises, but I do have a single dropping in March as well.
Okay.
And I am starting to write for a full length album. And I
Oh.
don't know when I'm not making promises as to when or where, what, who, but I am working toward that. So just know that it is in the forefront of my mind at all times.
That's amazing. The only thing I ask when you get the full album done is press at least one on vinyl.
Oh,
me.
yeah, that'd be cool. I should do that. That's cool.
I love vinyl. I really do. I'm a huge vinyl guy.
Mhm.
And, you know, we like to, I've got several I need to buy right now from friends of mine that I just haven't got around to doing. But I just prefer vinyl over a CD. The digital sound to me just doesn't sound the same
Mhm.
as what it does on vinyl. It's so, I'm just old school that way.
Oh,
I
we
mean,
have a ton of vinyls too.
yeah, I've got 4 record players in my house.
Oh, wow. That's
So,
excessive, but I love it.
you know, I've got one in the studio. I've got one in the basement outside the studio, and we have 2 upstairs. So
One in every room.
yeah, so we can listen to pretty much whatever we want to when we want to.
Right.
And one of them, luckily, I can plug in my phone and Bluetooth, so I can at least and it's tied into the surround sound upstairs, so I can play you up there on the weekends and get the full effect, which is nice. Not that my truck has a good sound system too, and
Right.
it's usually cranked up as loud as it'll go. And then some. It's like most people say, you know, crank it to 11. Mine goes to 30, and it's usually at 32.
I like that.
And so, and like the last few days, it's been Taylor Austin Die blaring through there, and people, you know, I've had to have the windows up, and they're still looking at me. You know, it's kind of like these cars where you hear the thumping from 3 blocks away.
Yep. Oh, it's just George coming. Here he is.
Yeah, it's just George. He's got Taylor on again. Jeez. So now, one thing that I noticed, and I don't want to put you on the spot with your schedule, but I noticed you've got kind of some areas there where there's like openings, you know, that kind of thing. Are you booked pretty much the whole time, and those are just not, you know, like maybe it's a private type of thing, you know, a private event or something like that, and you don't put those on your website?
I have a ton of private stuff, but no, my booking agent, all that will be filled. You know, I usually don't know until at least 1 or 2 months out my full schedule. So, but no, my booking agent, she will have all that cram packed in the next month or so.
So when you tour, do you rather tour like full band and I know like financially and logistically it's easier if you're going acoustic with maybe 1 or 2, but what's your preference, full band or doing it more of an acoustic set?
I think for what I'm doing right now, my preference is still the acoustic thing because it's me and Ben. It's easy. You know, we just head out, do our thing, and it's just like, you know, not having to coordinate with all the other band members and rent a van and haul all the gear. You know, I know you said logistically, but there's sometimes when I do prefer that for when, you know, we're able to and when it makes sense for us. But right now, I think there's something that's more true that comes across when you're just in that acoustic setting, and I love that.
Right. And I agree with you. I mean, it's a lot more fun. Well, I mean, it's kind of, it depends on the band. I mean, some bands, that are, it's like the whole band gets into it and they make for a great show.
Oh,
Some
that's
bands you
super
get,
fun. Love that.
the members aren't as, I don't know, as active on stage as they ought to be. But and the reason I ask is, I've got some venues that I might reach out to and see if maybe we can't get some coordinated to get you down to them. I'd really like to see you in some different places down here. We're going to be, I'll be in Nashville in February. And that was another reason I asked. I didn't know if you were going to be free that week or not. But I'll be there for a country radio seminar February 22nd through the 26th is when we'll be down there.
Okay.
So we're coming in early and leaving late so we can have some time to, check out, not that we need to check out Nashville. We go down there. Well, we haven't been in the last 2 years, thanks to COVID. But before we were down there about twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
check my schedule back because I'm always picking up downtown when I'm here and not on the road. I'll just pick up, I don't have a set schedule for downtown, but I'm able to pick up when I can. So
yeah, well, we'll keep an eye on that. And if you're playing that week, we'll definitely make that. Yep. Yeah. TaylorAustinDye.com. Go there. Taylor, this has been one of those conversations. It's not been an interview for me. It's been a conversation. I really enjoy that. I've loved just to sit down and talk to you.
Well, thank you for having me on finally. And we got it worked out.
Exactly. I'm glad we finally got that on. I tell you, it's been, it was a little nerve-wracking there for a while, but we finally got it done. And I hope to have you back on again, after, maybe you get a couple more songs out. Thank you very much for letting me world premiere, like you do, because that makes me feel really good because I like to do that. I like to go back and say, well, I was the first one that played it. So it gives me bragging rights. And sometimes, by golly, I like to brag.
All right. Nothing wrong with that.
But so check Taylor out. If you're going to be in the Kentucky area, she'll be there this weekend, Friday and Saturday. Then she is going to be in Nashville at Live Oak on January 19th. That is a Wednesday night. So if you're down there, then you can check her out. Any of you want to find out where she's playing, anything like that, just go to TaylorAustinDye.com. The big thing that I like to encourage people to do, download their music. Okay. So go to Spotify, Apple iTunes, all those, download her music. And then also when you're at the website, check out the merchandise. She has a store on there, and that helps the artist to continue what they're doing when you purchase their merch, or you download the songs, or you pre-save the songs, or any of that stuff. And that's one of the big things that we want to do is help these artists with their careers, get them out there, get people to know them, and become fans. I mean, that's the bottom line. We want more fans for Taylor Austin Dye. We want to go around different towns and see just ride or die shirts everywhere.
Absolutely.
So go check her out. Social media, real quick. What are the handles that you have on your socials?
It's easy. Taylor Austin Dye everywhere.
Okay.
Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, spelled just like it is here, wherever that's at. Taylor Austin.
There you go.
Yeah.
Spelled just like Taylor's name, Taylor Austin Dye. No spaces.
No spaces.
So you can find her on any of her socials, and that's awesome. So go check her out. Find out, like I said, I heard like he does on TikTok, or like you do on TikTok, and that was when I first heard it, I was like, yeah, this is going to be a hit. Hopefully we can.
I'm so excited.
See a lot of traction on that song to where radio will go, hey, maybe we need to be playing this girl,
Fingers crossed.
So good luck to you. Thanks a lot for coming on. And we enjoyed it a lot. Loved having you on, and we'll have you back again soon. Thursday night, we've got Chris Moreno is going to be on with us. And he is another independent country music artist, which is what we do. We're introducing the country stars of tomorrow to the country fans of today. Again, want to thank our sponsors, Go-Go Tuners, Civvies, and Heart to Heart Coffee, along with the guys at Three Rangers. I will throw them in there, even though I am suffering from Three Rangers alcohol withdrawal, trying to mask it with Buffalo Trace. And when we're in Nashville, if you are around, we need to get together because you need to try Three Rangers. Okay.
All right. I'm down.
I'm not going to try. I'm not going to get into a drinking contest with you. I can promise you that. But I'll do a few shots or glasses, depending on what I have to do the next day.
Okay. That sounds good.
All right, Taylor. Thanks for coming on. Everybody have a fantastic night, and we will see you guys real soon. Again, don't forget, it's Before Nashville. You can find us on Apple iTunes. You can also find us on Spotify, Google Podcast, and more, wherever you get your podcast. And we've always got some great artists just like Taylor on. So you guys have a great night, and we'll see you on Thursday.
See y'all.